Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Camilla Carrara, Project Coordinator at CLAS. I'm really pleased to welcome you all to this session that we dedicated to media only, that CLAS and Connecting Cultures jointly organized to launch the Imagining Sustainable Fashion Award. The session will last 1 hour, of which 45 minutes presentation moderated by CLAS CEO and founder Giusy Bettoni, and 15 minutes for a Q&A session. Indeed, I kindly ask you to turn off your microphones till the end of the presentation in order to have a better quality of the audio. Moreover, as we are recording this session, I suggest you to switch off your camera in case you are not willing to appear. Now, I'm extremely pleased to present our today's speaker, Giusy Bettoni, CEO and founder of CLAS, Anna Detheridge, founder and president, Connecting Cultures, Stefania Ricci, director of Museum Ferragamo, Gianni Ballone, managing director, Fashion for Development. I leave the word to Giusy. Enjoy the vision.
So thank you very much, Camilla. Good afternoon again to everybody, and thanks to be here with us. I'm really pleased and honored to have this let's go session. As you know, I'm running CLAS since 2007. And I was just mentioning with my team this morning that, after more than 15 years, this is the first time that we are not doing a webinar or a call just to share a new material, a new things happening, a brand launching something, but we are here to ask help, to ask help for creativity. Why? At CLAS, since the beginning, what we are trying to do is to include responsibility as one of the main values together with design and together with the innovation. And we know that smart innovation, so the innovation that is also responsible, has been boosting in the last 5 years. It's something different when we talk about communication, because it's like we have a new business model, we have new material, we have new amazing opportunities, to include the responsibility. But when it comes to communicate these values, it looks like we are working with, some very basic words. And concerning the image, it looked like it's still an old one. And for sure, if we have to upgrade, if we need to use a different kind of tools for the innovation, we need also to upgrade and to work with a different way to communicate. And that's where, we thought it was really important to have a new system, to have a new visual, to have a new technologies, techniques, whatever you want to say. And the only way that we found is, first of all, to partner with someone like Connecting Culture that, is a non-profit research agency whose mission is to promote sustainability through art and design. And art and design is so important in everything that we do with responsibility, because visual look is the first. We are keeping saying to everybody, if we start to include responsibility, we cannot forget that people is choosing by eyes, beautiful things. And the visual is the most important thing to communicate, with a consumer, with people, with, between us. So we said it's really important to partner with someone that is really, skilled and has the same love, passion, and is seriously involved with sustainability, and that's Connecting Culture, with Anna Detheridge, that is the founder and the president of this association. And that's why we are here together today to talk a bit about this award, that we are really proud of, because we are looking for new solution. As we had new solution in technology, we had to have new solution in order to represent this sustainability. It's not enough just to talk about a leaf or the green color. I think we deserve more, because in our mind, when it comes to smart innovation or the new generation of sustainability, that means design, innovation, and responsible values together, we need to deserve something different, something that is telling the value behind it, because we know very well what is happening with the misuse of even the word of sustainability. A lot of people is not using it anymore because there is no more value in it, even if it's the most should be, and it is the fundamental one. So I do not want to take, time away, because we have, different things to share with you in order to be as much as possible closer to a solution that is going to come from the market. Anna, can you take us through, our
Yes. Thank you very much, Giusy.
And the award. Yeah. Thank you.
I'll try and explain our approach. Well, for me, it's a great honor and pleasure to be working with Giusy. She's a pioneering spirit, and it's great to be working with her. It's been incredibly easy, and I very much admire her approach, her certified fibers and fabrics, which are indispensable and very important for responsible businesses. So as for connecting cultures, well, yes, we've been in, we're a non-profit agency working in the field of research, as Giusy was saying, in the field of arts and design, but we also do education, what the Italians call formazione, education, higher education, in the field of arts and design applied to a responsible, let's say, approach to society. And we do believe that arts and design are catalysts, let's say, for change. And so for us, the award, Imagining Sustainable Fashion, is like a wake-up call for the business. And not just for the business, it's a wake-up call for society at large. I think the world is in crisis. We're experiencing world-shattering events, not just climate change, but we can see it every day, even in Italy. The floods and the imbalance that climate is provoking, instability, hitting us from all over the globe, COVID-19, etc., etc. So it cannot just be business as usual. I believe taking responsibility also means something for each one of us in our profession, but also as citizens in society or as consumers. So it really is for all of us. And just a few days ago, I clocked into a debate online organized by the New York Times, which I found very interesting because it was about fashion. And the question was how fashion is meeting the moment. And it was a question which was put to a lot of brands, various brands, and to some designers like Virgil Abloh. For me, the answers so far have been and were in this debate very disappointing. I think the brands were talking about, basically, they were looking inwards and they were talking mostly about marketing, but it was if they didn't have the courage to look towards a wider picture. And the wider picture is necessary. And it's not just the business that is in crisis, we are all in crisis. And if we do not have the courage to look at the bigger picture, I think we are not going to find the results. And I think that is a first important thing to acknowledge, the fact that communication and content, research and looking for solutions are absolutely linked. We cannot afford today to have communication or greenwashing which is not closely linked to something which which is the expression of a real research, a real looking for answers. And Virgil Abloh was particularly interesting in this debate because he said very eloquently, it's as if people today have developed a different way of relating to fashion. And I think this could be another wake-up call, or let's say an alert to the fashion industry, that people are relating to fashion maybe in a different way, because if you relate to it as if it were a vote, it means that you are identifying with its values. So I think you cannot avoid the question, what are the values of fashion today? And I think it is a question that has an urgency which is stronger and more powerful than brand names. In fact, I think it could be stronger than consolidated power. Virgil Abloh was talking about a watershed. and things could change a great deal. He said, what if Africa became the new Paris? I mean, it's a very radical idea, but this is about taking responsibility, I believe. So we who also have a fashion master in sustainable fashion design with the Politecnico, or the Polydesign in Milan, what do we talk about to our students? We talk about embracing innovation, embracing circular economy, embracing ideas of new technology, and research. Basically, I think brands should be investing in research for new materials that don't shed microfibers, that suffocate the fauna and flora of our oceans, etc., etc. And I also think that nothing can justify a little black dress that costs €5 and less, which is what we often see in e-commerce or in fast fashion. And a black dress that costs €5 is like a quick fix. It's like something that that's pleasurable at the moment, but that it's a dependency. It's like drugs. It's something that's feeding into our sense of inadequacy. Women have always had this sense of inadequacy, and that is something which has fueled fashion, of course, but it has never been at these levels. And it's perverse, but it's also very bad for the business, because the business is, the quality business is competing with all of this. I think we need to invest a little more time and curiosity about knowing more about materials, about teaching people about materials and the importance of fashion's values, because that is the alternative. What are fashion's values? A sustainability with integrity, which is to do with awareness, ethics in the way we treat the people that work for us, because those are the people who are the experts, that they know how to make things, responsibility. So I think all these issues are absolutely at the bottom of our hopes for imagining sustainable fashion and the competition. The call opens tomorrow on October the 6th, and it will close on January the 12th at midnight, 2021. And these months will give time and the opportunity for creatives, all creatives, creatives in a very wide sense, that can be artists, video makers, photographers, fashion designers, illustrators, cartoonists, video makers, all. And if you are unsure whether you can apply, just write to us. Write to us and we definitely will answer you. All the information is on our website, which means that, which is www.connectingcultures.it. What are we looking for? Excuse me. We're looking for effective and beautiful imagery, a message, obviously, that is meaningful, that combines design, innovation, and responsibility. Developing imagery that contrasts many of the negative aspects of overconsumption and exclusivity. Strategic thinking, innovative and creative proposals, impactful design, emotional resonance, all these qualities. But obviously when you're looking at the images or the whole idea of a communication, you're looking also at how the communication relates obviously to the content, and this can be in many different ways. We are very proud of our jury. We have put together an international, very high profile jury, which includes artists, fashion designers, professionals, and marketing experts. And they're all leading voices in the industry. I'll read out the people who will be accompanying us. Rita Airaghi, who is an old friend, a director and the director of the Gianfranco Ferré Foundation, which is custodian to the archives. Paola Arosio, head of new brands and sustainability projects at the Camera Nazionale della Moda Italiana, which is the Italian National Chamber of Commerce for Fashion. Janine Ballon, Managing Director, Fashion for Development. Please excuse me if I pronounce your names wrongly. Evie Evangelou, Founder and President of the Fashion for Development. And Chiara Luisi, Sustainability Projects Manager for Camera Nazionale della Moda, again, the Italian Chamber of Italian Fashion. Sara Kozlowski, Director of Education and Sustainable Strategies at the Council of Fashion Designers of America. Dio Kurazava, who's the founding partner of Bear Scouts. Renata Molho, a journalist, Italian journalist, fashion and cultural journalist and writer, very well known in Italy. Lucy Orta, artist and chair of Art and the Environment at the University of the Arts in London. And Stefania Ricci, director, Museo Salvatore Ferragamo. And Stefania is here with us today, and she'll be talking after I've finished. The award is for €3,000, and it's made possible through our sponsors, all companies with a vision, and all participants in smart innovation. So the main sponsor, Roika by Asahi Kasei, and sponsor EcoSensor by Asahi Kasei, and the sponsor Supreme Green Cotton by Varessos from Greece. So to sum up very briefly, imagining sustainable fashion is about building a new vision. It's about embracing a positive worldview which can take on innovation, which is not just a word but a concept. It's not something out of the blue. Scientists and economists are already working on this. Jeremy Rifkin, the economist, is working with the European Union, and the European Union has already placed the bonds that will help us get through this terrible crisis, but they are also about in Italy we call them recovery bonds, but actually they're called new generation bonds. So we're talking about the future, and it is the European Union that in some ways at least is leading the way towards innovation and towards a different and greener future. And I think this is a very important moment also for small innovative brands that will have their chance, because it's as if we were all starting from scratch. It's almost as if we are all on the same starting line. And so I believe that we all need to learn new paradigms, and no natural catastrophe could have brought home more eloquently this dramatic moment than COVID-19, and a universal truth that is like one planet, one life. So I think we can maybe start from here. So thank you, Camilla. Thank you, Giusy. Maybe you can take it from here.
Yeah. Thank you, Anna. It has been really, going through the whole globe.
No, yes. Trying to be very general, but very, very concise.
Great. And, just to go to something, that I think it's important, I would ask Stefania Ricci, to join us. This is not really a presentation. This is really sharing what we are trying to do. And it will be, good, to have Stefania, that is part of our jury, to tell us why she decided to be part and what she thinks about it. Stefania.
I am happy to be here, of course, and because for me this way towards sustainability is very important. And we started with Giusy and Sara Maino and Marina Spatafora 3 years ago to work for an exhibition about sustainability, because of course the objective of the museum is to improve the knowledge. And I thought that it was important to make something that was clear, easy for a large public, and explain what means sustainability for fashion, what the companies are doing with a big effort towards this future of our world and also for our business. Of course, it was important that the message came from a museum that was connected to a fashion company so famous with a long tradition as Ferragamo. And in Ferragamo, all the different departments are doing a lot to change the model of business in the product, in the research of materials, in the circular economy. And I believed that was important to explain that it's important to change the mind. Probably the example that we have in exhibition, we have the example of a new designer that decided to have sustainability as the model of their companies. Probably their solution in 2 years were obsolete, they were not so new, and other materials, other solution, technology can find. But it was important to explain the process and to explain that it's important to have a new thinking, to think with the idea of social responsibility and sustainability as consumer, and also in the field of production and design. We asked also some artists, very famous artists, Pascal Martin Tailloux, and Lucy and Georg Horta, and Thomas Saraceno, to be part, and Elena Tsui, to be part of this project, because sometimes artworks are very, can help to explain, and they are emotional and they give immediately the message. And we want also to explain that the new solution in the path of sustainability are not renounced to beauty. We can save sustainability and beauty and glamour and everything that we want to find in a fashion product or in a special material. This is very important, because in the normal point of view, people think that the new products with sustainable materials are not the same quality of the traditional product. It's not true, and we are finding day after day new solution, new idea, new experience that can find better result than the past. But we need to know. And so I am very happy to be here, because also this contest can help to improve the knowledge, can help to explain that our future is important, and we have a future if we have a sustainable future.
Thank you so much, Stefania. You know, you are reading in my mind all the time. You know, it's so important also this part of the fact that the consumer sometimes doesn't know what they, what they buy. Even the youngest generation that are, screaming to get them. But it's a question really of, sharing also all these values. So education, Janine, fashion for development. I let you start this conversation.
Sorry, my technical skills on unmuting. Sorry about that. Thanks for having me today. It's really nice to join everyone here, and obviously everything that was spoken previous, I don't want to be duplicative of, so I'm going to say everything that has been said already is the foundation for the future of what we need to do. So what I'll add on is just a little bit about what I think, working in supply chain and design and global brands for the last 30 years around the globe, and also what Fashion for Development is looking to do right now through the UN and some of the partnerships we have going on. Some of the things great work that's been done, obviously, with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and what Fashion for Development as a private sector global platform can do. We've been working with the Secretary General's office for many years. We have been supported and really helped globally on many projects, from Franca Sozzani from Italian Vogue, who is no longer with us, but Sarah, who is also our Goodwill Ambassador, who is now part of the group. But what we've always done is advance economic and social development, sustainable opportunities. It's been a platform for many young designers globally, from Africa to Asia, to South America, to the United States. And what we've always done is to really promote the sustainable lifestyle through awareness, education programs, opportunities to be showcased through the United Nations. It was really started as an offset to try to help the sector in general kind of promote the good things that can happen, and try to push awareness to more of the social environmental projects that are not happening there. So for me personally, I have been, as I said, 30 years or more in the fashion industry, but really developing. I was head of global innovation as an incubator for some of the bigger brands, $10 billion companies around the world. And what I really was focused when you asked me to join, really what Anna said earlier was, just laying the groundwork to really why we're here significantly. So I just want to add on to that, and which was what Stefania said, which is we have to be able to figure out what our sustainable things look like in the future of fashion to make them look beautiful, but how to execute those, right? So what we've always said is there's many great ideas and opportunities out there. And to Anna's point, right now it's ground zero for everyone again. So some of these big brands have to kick off their old supply chains. They have to kick off their old ways of working. And right now, it's going to be how best we can use all of the new innovations that are out there that haven't been picked up, that haven't been showcased, and how can we really execute those and make those come to life within the supply chains in the future of the fashion industry. It's a salient moment, it's a pinnacle moment, it's a watershed moment. Every word you want to use, it is the time right now. And come January 2021, if these big companies and even the new companies have not looked at the opportunities for human capital, living wages, social programming, environmental opportunities, new trends and new opportunities in the fiber and processing of fabrics, then I think that those companies should not exist. And we, as industry leaders and platforms, need to do a better job also to really focus in and encourage people on these new things, exchanging cultures to really showcase that there should be a democratization of all of these ideas, and not that it's just limited to a few companies who can handle it. So basically, it's everything that everyone said, and then just a little bit more from my side, because it's an amazing opportunity to really see what's out there. Juice.
Thank you very much.
Interesting. Bravo.
Really great. So that's why, we are all here together, because it's just with synergies like these that we can move things, onwards, and we need to keep working together. And that's why, for example, Anna, you mentioned our sponsor, but our sponsor are not just people that is supporting with money. We select a sponsor that has already shift their culture of smart innovation, and they do it. And so we have people like, as I can say, for the premium stretch fiber, but also as I can say with EcoSensor, that is a collection all dedicated to high performance for sports. So something even more difficult sometimes, from a smart innovation point of view, or the only smart cotton that is harvested in and grown in Europe, that is a much better traceability, transparency, and use of water from, Barbarestos, that is the smart green cotton. And, we have a message coming from Roy Kabayazai-Kazay, his marketing person, that would have liked to be with us today as our main sponsor, but he couldn't, so we have a message. And of course, CLAS is supporting this, because we cannot just talk, we need to do things, and we need to invest as well in these kind of things. And even in a world for communication is important, because we like or not, everybody is talking about sustainability, but it's still very difficult for the consumer to understand the value behind it. And if we do not tell them exactly what they buy, everything that we say is going to be really, not so important. So let's have Kondo-san, greet the people and with his message. Please, Camilla.
Hi, my name is Takaaki.
Oh, great.
I am the General Manager of Roika Global Marketing Department of Asahi Kasei. Roika is a world-leading brand bringing forward innovation and sustainability to deliver premium, smart, and high-tech stretch for the wardrobe of tomorrow. We believe that together with responsible innovation, communication is the key to bring sustainability to the next level, to inspire, educate, inform, and allow both professionals and consumers to make the right choice. That is why we decided to sponsor the Imagining Sustainable Fashion Award. It is time to pioneer also in communication, and we are looking forward to discovering your ideas, visions, and projects.
So at this point, I just want to tell you that, today, this moment of sharing, this award was just for media today, but tomorrow we are going to have at 4 o'clock the session in order to share with school, professional, any kind, of people, because we are really looking for new ways to communicate with no boundaries, no limits, really. So 4 o'clock tomorrow with our media partners, that is Renown, together, with Connecting Culture and us. But, and also, so if there is any question, of course, as Anna was saying, you can find also more information, and we're going to have a press release just disclosed after this session from CLAS and also from Connecting Culture. But any question?
And we also have, an address, a contact that you can write to with no problem, which is on our website.
Good.
Jose.
Yes, David.
What a surprise.
Wow.
Well, I think you want somebody just to kick off the, listen, first of all, everybody, thank you very much. Absolutely fabulous. Josie knows I've fully been arguing for years that what we need is more creativity on the sustainable front. People only buy what they love, not because it's worthy, but because they have an orgasm from it. So that is a really good thing. I just want to question your timing, because I take on board what you said about the new generation government grants from the EEC, the England giving £6 billion to the creative arts. But if we look at a recent McKinsey survey about post-COVID, whatever post-COVID means, consumer behavior, we're seeing a very big diversion or polarization in national mentality. Whereas a lot of Americans, British, Italians would say, yes, yes, now's the time, reset, boring word, but Naomi Klein, let's make it a greener world. The big continents, the Chinese, the Indians, the Southeast Asians, are all saying, no, this question of sustainability, ecology is no longer top of our list. What we're looking towards is financial security, hygiene, other personal factors rather than this. So do you think is it the right time to launch a project like this? Is everybody concentrating on this?
Well, David, I think there is, in this moment, of full uncertainty, there is nothing that is crystal clear. But for sure, we know that, it's the right time to start spreading, more the possibility for the consumer to understand what they buy, at least. Because if we do not move into at least the communication and the values of what we are doing, it's going to be impossible, to move, because you can do the best thing you know, from a design perspective, from an innovation perspective and responsibility. But if this message and these values are not going through to the consumer, how we can move things. And that's where we started our conversation. So, and we know that, and it was like this before, but now you said a very important word for me, that is hygiene, you know. In sustainability for us, you know, since 2007, we have been putting material health in the heart of the values that we need to represent at sustainability. Now it has become the first one, suddenly, you know, because of course, everybody was talking sometime about the impact on the environment or the technologies to do things, but nobody was talking about another important sustainable values that is also the well, not just the material health, the health and the ethics to produce, for example. And this has become number one all over the world, looking at McKinsey report you were just mentioning. So I think as everything is a journey, we as class started this journey on smart innovation, so material that is responsible and innovative at the same time in 2007. And it happened 2-3 years ago, more or less. Now we start the communication. I think we have improved a lot because we like or not, COVID is a tragedy, you know, it has been, and, you know, we're still dancing. We have to live with it at the moment, but it has been something that has destroyed a lot, but at the same time, you can see that certain other things are going faster into certain people, because it's not about country, it's really about culture now. And the protection for people has become one of the most important things. So this for us will be one of the key things, given that it's going to be a journey. And in the journey is still missing one part that we cannot play, that means new laws, you know, because apart from the goodwilling and the commitment, you know, there is a part that I think should be taken care by other people. But we take our responsibility into this piece. And for us, if we can manage to give more clear and conscious message and true message to the consumer when they buy, I think we are going to be really in a better place.
Yes, if I may add one thing, I think, you know, we can ask what comes first, the chicken or the egg, but in actual fact, I think that we just have to start taking responsibility for the consequences of linear industrial production, and start thinking about how, and the answers are already there. I mean, the scientists and the economists have been thinking about how to, for example, understand GDP without, I mean, adding other factors and indicators that are not just production, industrial production. So there are many ways that things need to change, and it's not just obviously the fashion industry that needs to change, but nature is telling us very eloquently. I mean, nature is rebelling. Nature is coming down on us in a very dramatic way. And so I really do think that we have to respond, and all industries and all sectors of human activity really do have to rethink their priorities. At least that's what I believe.
I don't want to make this a whole debate about sustainability, because we're talking about the creativity side, which I think is fantastic. It's something new. It's a very new aspect. I think, Josie, you're right. You really need to stress the hygiene part, because although you talk a lot, I never really heard about the hygiene. It was all about, you know, the trees and the recycling and all the rest of it. So I think that's a very, very important part. I just worry, always worry. I mean, you know, unfortunately, the world is not full of Guardian readers or Republica readers or New York Times readers. There's a lot of other attitudes in the world. And when I looked, I live in Amsterdam, Holland, so that's not typical of what the COVID process is being. I was shocked by the lack of responsibility shown by people. I know that's not the case in Italy, where you're obliged to wear masks, etc. But in more countries like Holland, like England, where people have said in their own way, be responsible. But when you see them, there is no responsibility. So I'm wondering, we keep using this word yes, everybody who is intelligent and logical understands the importance of climate change, our role in production within climate change and all the rest of it. But when the first thing that was, the queues were outside Zara or outside Dior, you know, not outside responsible companies. So I'm just wondering how we educate better. How do we do this?
Well, you know, we do not have just one answer. This is really an item for another seminar, I think. You know, what we found out is that, you know, we should at least communicate better, you know, because you know, if I remember what was the perception of sustainable materials, even 8 years ago, it was really low. And today, you know, the smart innovation is even better than the conventional. It's taking a long time, David. But the thing that we are really missing at the moment, at least for this part, is really to communicate better the value. And communicate is not just saying, but including, you know, the values that we have created, that at the moment is missing. Because think that at the moment we have an organic cotton that can cost 5 cents and an organic cotton that can cost 500 euros, sorry. So how to tell the story behind these things? And we are not even now going into the details of sustainability. For sure, the journey of the 500 is completely different from the 5 cents. And sometimes, you know, even the 500 is not a good price either for the material. But what we would like to do through the communication is to be more, you know, we say that sustainability is not sustainability if it's not possible to measure it and to trace it as well. So
I do see, I also think you should say something about the disruption of the supply chains and how they are going to differ now. I mean, this COVID, as to what Anna's saying, is completely disrupted how we're going to be buying in the future.
Yeah,
will we
absolutely.
buy things from China 18 months ahead of time? No. So disruption is going to happen because we have to reinvent a new way of doing business. Yes, will take time, but eventually if the new companies coming out of here and the new ways of learning and they're doing it the right way, disruption is automatically, you cannot refit the plumbing of a bad, house that's never going to be fixed. So you have to rip it all down and you have to start from scratch by reinventing and using innovation as a new opportunity to create a new supply chain, because the old way is never going to continue to work, no matter what. So the conversation has to start. Yeah. It may not be relative to Zara people right now, but they will have to change and they will have to reinvent their opportunity of how they're doing business, because what Virgil was saying, Anna, it's a watershed. People will have to change. It's just going to be a different, how we planned, how we created inventory, how we bought, how we manufactured, how do we source it. That supply chain will not exist the old way again. It might for the next 6 months because people are panicking to get their goods in, but nobody's selling goods right now. So, what companies are really going to be lasting at the end? That's the other opportunity. And I really believe that supply chain disruption, though right now many of these companies weren't even paid. These factories. So who's going to be existing when they come back? That's why innovation and supply and sustainability has to come at the same time. Sorry, but in the moment.
That's why we're here together, and that's why I think the consumer has to be part of the conversation, because we cannot leave this discussion just at trade level, because if we leave at the trade level, we know what is not going to happen, but the consumer is looking for it. So, and I'm not saying that he's looking just for sustainability, he's looking for a new way, to have a product and to use the product and to share the product. So it's a brand new thing, starting from, as far as I'm concerned, because after April, I got the telephone ringing a lot from people that I would never guess, and they were talking about protection. That is the key words at the moment. But it's a way to transit to something that, as we all said, it's going to be a new generation, of supply chain, a new generation of consumer, and we need to understand it step by step. And I'm sure that at a certain point, Europe or laws will come, because of course we cannot think that we can, change the world, because we need a change now. It's not just fixing, as Janine was saying, or by ourselves, but we take our responsibility, right, Anna?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we
Together
do our best.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we do our best, and
And I think
very great questions. You know, there is not.
I think creating awareness. When we started our course, our sustainable fashion course 6 years ago, we were really considered outsiders. We still are outsiders in the fashion industry. We're certainly not
alien.
Yes, aliens, absolutely aliens. And the main contestation was, well, sustainable fashion is ugly. Well, I've always loved fashion, and I wasn't thinking about anything ugly in it. To me, it didn't have to do with anything ugly at all. And I was beginning to think that a lot of the fashion, the people in the fashion world, the whole fashion business was becoming incredibly boring, because a lot of it was all the same, as if a lot of the designers weren't having the say they wanted to have. I remember working in the fashion industry right at the beginning, in the late 70s when I was very young, and early 80s, and the Italian fashion scene was incredibly exciting, and everything was happening. And then suddenly the whole thing kind of got more and more industrial, and more, let's say, perimetered by other requirements. It had to be marketed, etc., etc. And then the whole idea of producing abroad. For Italy, producing abroad has been a great loss, I think, because the business in Italy has developed mainly because of il saper fare, the Italian ability in making, and the tradition, and in making textiles. I mean, the whole Como area, the districts that are have such expertise. And maybe this disruption of the supply chain will mean reshoring, will mean